Welcome back to Thunderbox's Garage. Today we've made a bloody huge HO scale AFX slot car layout. It's got a few elevated sections, so we're going to make some rocks to hold them up out of polystyrene. We've cut these with hot knife using broccoli boxes, and I'll show you how to make the hot knife later. The rocks look pretty effective. Here we go. We just cut the boxes up into some slabs, and then we get some spray adhesive and glue the slabs together. Make sure you coat both sides that need to be glued, and it'll stick pretty well and pretty instantly. As soon as it's dried, you can cut them out. You just go zigzag random. You can't really get the shape of a rock wrong. Every single one's different. Then paint them all a base colour. A lighter colour's probably better, and make sure you get all the crevices and cracks, because any little white bits you leave show up real bad. And then once that's dried, you add a bit of a darker colour into the crevices and ruts and grooves, and go along with a dark brown or a black or a bit of both, and just put it in there and be pretty generous with it, and then wipe the excess off with a paper towel. This will leave a pretty nice texture and will leave that darker shades, add a bit of realism to the rock, and then you come back and do highlights. Now I'll show you how to make the hot knife. You need a coping saw, some electrical tape, a toasted hairdryer and some wire. Now we take the coping saw, pull it apart, and we get the little blade holder that attaches to the handle. This needs to be insulated from the bow of the blade, so we're just putting some heat shrink on there. I really want to make sure that it doesn't short out where I don't want it to, so I'm going to double up on that heat shrink. And we just make sure that it's a nice thing there. Now obviously that's got to fit back in the hole still, so it's going to be a little bit tight with the extra heat shrink on it, but make it fit, being careful not to tear or damage your heat shrink, because we want that bolt insulated from the bow itself. We also want to just insulate the metal collet on the end of the coping saw handle. Screw the handle back on, don't over tighten, because we don't want to touch metal to metal on the bow. And then using nichrome wire that's found in hairdryers and toasters, it's a high resistance wire, just wrap a bit onto the blade holder, trim off any excess, pull it nice and tight. And then for the electrical connections, one wire goes directly to the blade or the blade holder, and the other wire goes to the bow. As you can see, the electrical tape under my thumb there, I've just got the wire wrapped around and taped on. No soldering. And then, just because we want to make sure that doesn't short out, we're going to put a little bit more electrical tape on there. And that's pretty much it. We've got a hot knife. You can run that on a voltage. Works pretty well from about 5 volts. Works really well at 8. Cuts well at 10. Gets a bit too hot, 12. I'll just use an adjustable voltage regulator.